Chapter 652. The audience was grinning from ear to ear. The fans of the untimely couple went crazy. The comments section was filled with the excited shouts of the couple's fans. "Aw, kill me to cheer up Shui and Sister E. It's too sweet, too sweet. How can it be so sweet? Shui, did you hear that? Sister E is saying that she misses you. I'm about to pass out. Is Xiangyi shy? Don't delay the biscuits. They won't taste good when they're cold. Don't worry, we'll tell Shui about it for you." At the same time in the live stream of Two Under One Roof. Today's guest was the domineering CEO of the Xiang Corporation, Feng Feng. The fans complained that Li Jinyu was too good at saving money, but soon they found out. The reason was that Xiang Feng was too hilarious. He climbed trees to fish, scratched his feet, and crossed his legs. It was so realistic. Besides, he was also a walking beeper, which happened to neutralize Shui's gentle and taciturn nature. The two of them had been live streaming for half a day, and even the Suifeng couple had popped up. What should we do? Domineering CEO X Suifeng is a demon. Do you think we can get married? The untimely couple sneered and looked down on everything. The untimely couple is the official match. The official wife is here. The other couples are all concubines. The Suifeng couple was indignant. They had been brothers for many years, and during Shui's most difficult time, Xiang Feng was the one who reached out to him and signed him. In terms of age, Shui and Xiang Feng had known each other for several years longer than Shui and Xiangyi. However, when Shui turned on the TV to watch the live news, the comment section was instantly filled with comments about the untimely couple. The Suifeng couple wept. "We were wrong after all." Xiang Feng was very noisy and he was the type of person who could talk to himself and entertain himself, let alone when he was with Shui. He munched on potato chips and said smugly, "Our little Xiangyi is so beautiful. She can actually resist the HD filterless camera of CCTV." Everyone finally snapped out of their daze. Yeah. This was a live broadcast on Central TV. All kinds of demons and ghosts had to show themselves, but Xiangyi not only resisted, but also highlighted her delicate facial features. In the crowd, it was so white that it seemed to glow. The little girl was eating meat pies. In the living room, two men occupied the two ends of the sofa. One of them was smiling so widely that his eyes couldn't be seen, while the other's thin lips were slightly curved and his eyes were filled with love. When Xiang Feng heard the instructions to his family, he wailed and slapped his thigh. "Sob sob, little Xiangyi. You went to pick peaches and mulberries with Chi-Chi without me." Netizens. "Feng Feng of the Xiang clan, isn't your focus a bit off?" Shui's elbows and jawline were smooth as he leaned lazily on the sofa, looking extremely relaxed. But when he heard the words, "I miss you," his dark eyes lit up. It was as if the cold Milky Way was burning hot. Xiang Feng was dissatisfied. "Why don't you miss me? Am I not your favorite little uncle?" Next to him, Shui softly hummed and lowered her eyebrows. Her handsome face was blurred by the light and shadow, but her voice was clear and cheerful. "Yeah, I miss you too." Xiang Feng seemed to have been cast with a mute spell as the beeper went silent at this moment. A moment later, he let out an earth-shattering roar. "How cruel! Are you guys trying to trick a dog to come here and kill it?" The live broadcast room suddenly became a scene of a large-scale carnival. "Ha ha 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 ha, you're indeed a team of bullies. Sisters, it's a double arrow of love. If you get it, you've earned it. I announce that the two newlyweds are officially husband and wife. Play the music. Dang 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 dang." Chapter 653. As for the Suifeng couple, they hugged each other and cried on the spot. "Sorry, we're not worthy. The official couple is the best." Reporter Song was indeed a famous reporter. He could still maintain a smile even after being fed dog food. The director's voice came through the earpiece. "Continue, we have 2 more minutes. The viewership ratings have gone through the roof." It wasn't just the viewership ratings. The online search index on the internet was also constantly increasing. The live broadcast website crashed because there were too many viewers in a short period of time. The production team deliberately made adjustments to get more time for the interview. Of course, the main focus was to interview Xiangyi. Not only was it positive, but it also naturally revealed kinship and love. Which news reporter wouldn't love it? Reporter Song thought for a while and asked about Xiangyi's Tai Chi exercise. Sister E, your Tai Chi exercise has become popular overseas. Do you have anything to say about it? Xiangyi said embarrassedly. I can't say that it's mine. I adapted it based on some basic movements of Tai Chi. It's actually equivalent to radio gymnastics. It's mainly to let the patient move around and relax. I see. Reporter Song smiled and asked. I'm a little surprised. There aren't many young people who know Tai Chi these days. I just know a little. Why don't Sister E teach us a few self-defense Tai Chi moves? Xiangyi hesitated for a moment and said, Can I train? I have a simple version of Tai Chi exercise. Sure. Reporter Song thought that Tai Chi was not practical enough, so he didn't make things difficult for Xiangyi. The girl got up and casually got into position. Her every move was very simple and elegant. It was a combination of softness and softness, combining softness and agility with toughness. Her will, chi, form, and spirit were all in harmony, like flowing water. The audience was dumbfounded. Her movements are simple, but her aura is too strong. I'm shocked. I can feel the wind through the screen. Sister E can't really know martial arts, can she? That's all there is to it. If she wants to punch me, she'll have to kneel on the ground and beg me not to die. Even the experienced and knowledgeable Reporter Song was stunned. He had seen the representatives of several Tai Chi sects in the country. They were all people who had devoted themselves to cultivation for decades. Only then did they have the inner strength that was described in martial arts novels. But Xiangyi was so young, and he could feel her inner strength. He was so far away that his hair was blown by the wind caused by Xiangyi's movements. Could it be that she didn't teach him self-defense techniques because, don't need it? After Xiangyi demonstrated a few movements, the audience applauded. The experts present all wanted to clap their hands until they broke into pieces and kept praising her. Our little disciple is really awesome. Disciples' Tai Chi moves are comfortable and broad. Hardness and softness complement each other, and the will and chi combine. Wonderful. Is there anything in this world that my beloved disciple can't do? No. My beloved disciple is too awesome. The little girl was a little embarrassed. She pursed her lips and said, It's not that powerful. Expert team. Of course not. Our obedient disciples are outstanding. Plain and simple, spacious and empty like a valley. Disciple, you don't have to be too humble. That's right, that's right. If anyone dares to say anything bad about you, I'll dissect a little rabbit for them to see, humph. Everyone was talking at once. They really treated the little girl like a pearl in their palms. The audience was mesmerized on the spot. TSK, aren't you experts usually very serious? Why are you spoiling a little girl like this? Chapter 654. The atmosphere was joyous and harmonious. All of a sudden, the bell on the table rang. The experts who were originally relaxed immediately sat up straight with stern expressions. Some hurriedly wiped their mouths, some hurriedly tidied up their clothes, and some skillfully removed their wigs. At first, there were still some audience members who were puzzled and joked around. I'm going to be struck by lightning if I persuade people to learn medicine. Expert. I'm going bald in the path of medicine, but I've also become stronger. I suddenly realized that Xiangyi and Xiangyin have the best hair out of all of them. The Xiang family's genes are really impressive. Reporter Song was about to ask Xiangyi what happened, but he saw her striding out. Dr. Xiangyi. She looked back with her clear eyes calm and indifferent. She nodded at him slightly and said, Excuse me. Reporter Song was confused. Why did she leave just like that? The other younger experts also left one after another. Eager to protect his disciple, Elder Jing supported himself with the table and got up. No, I have to go and take a look. I can't let my dear disciple tire herself out. However, after getting up, his body swayed a little. Reporter Song was quick to react and hurriedly supported him. Elder Jing's eyes were red with anger. If I were 10 years younger, this would be nothing. Nothing. Elder Yun sighed. They were now in the mood to practice medicine, but they didn't have the strength to do so. After days of hard work, Xiangyi was the only one who could still run. The old men were already exhausted. The respected elder Feng explained. This bell means that there are patients in need of rescue. Reporter Song was suddenly enlightened. Oh, I see. Forget it, let's go and take a look too. Even if we can't do it ourselves, we can at least give them some advice. Elder Feng waved his hand and continued. We can't let the young people look down on us. Everyone supported each other and dragged their exhausted bodies, but their eyes were full of determination. Occasionally, the sound of experts arguing could be heard. Old man, can you do it or not? You're already panting after taking a few steps? Weren't you very agile when you were snatching the braised pork balls just now? If you ask me, you Western medicine doctors should learn how to maintain your health too. What's wrong with wearing a wig? It's better than some of you wearing dentures. Reporter Song's throat rolled as he looked at the group of exhausted but cheerful experts. His emotions were churning and indescribable. It was because of this group of people that the problem could be solved. Thank you all for your efforts. Reporter Song, who had always been eloquent, spoke dryly at this moment. He couldn't find the words to express his feelings. Our live broadcast today ends here. The live broadcast was interrupted, and the television began to broadcast other news. The audience in front of the screen remained silent for a long time. That scene was simply too shocking. Especially when Xiangyi took the lead and walked out. Her steps were so fast that it was as if she was walking on the wind. Her slender and thin figure carried far too much. No matter how cold-hearted a person was, he would feel from the bottom of his heart that, little girl, it really wasn't easy. On the internet, the spicy tutu girls were all crying. The moment our sister E rushed out without hesitation. It was so good to cry. Those who slander Sister E, listen up. She was not a vase fairy, nor was she a second-generation doctor. She was Dr. Xiangyi. She was an angel. Oh my God, I'm watching the live broadcast of CCTV and two under one roof at the same time. Shui's heart is aching. In the living room, Shui's long eyelashes drooped and he didn't move for a long time. However, if one took a closer look, they would realize that his hands, which were hanging on the sofa, were clenched into fists. He was using so much force that his knuckles were pale. Chapter 655. Even the beeping machine Xiangfeng was drooping his head in dejection. In fact, he knew very well that although Xiang Yin supported his children and grandchildren to choose a career they were passionate about, he definitely wanted someone to inherit his medical skills. Unfortunately, he and Sangchen were really not interested in medical skills. Xiang Yi was a meticulous person. She could sense Xiang Yin's disappointment, so she had been following him around since she was a child. It was undeniable that she was indeed interested in medical skills, but more than that, she didn't want Xiang Yin to have no successor. When she was a child, Xiang Yi would often doze off while memorizing Chinese medicine prescriptions. Occasionally, when she encountered difficult problems that she couldn't figure out, she would secretly hide in a corner and cry. Xiangfeng still felt his heart ache when he thought about it. He thought that his niece would be happy when she grew up, but to his surprise, she seemed to have more worries and responsibilities. Xiangfeng sniffled and said sadly, "My little Xiangyi is working too hard. When you come back, I'll definitely buy you fried chicken, ice cream, and spicy strips." The netizens watching the live stream were appalled. What kind of dangerous statement is that? Mr. Xiang is in danger. Is he taking Sister E to eat garbage? How should I put it? Bullying is not without reason. Actually, Xiang Yi may be a little silly, but he's really nice to Sister E. He just wants to make Sister E happy. I feel like crying again. Xiangfeng turned his head and said with tears in his eyes, Sui, cry if you want to. You don't have to hold it in. Come, lean on Daddy's shoulder." Sui raised her eyebrows in confusion. Xiangfeng said, "I'll call you Sui and you can call me Daddy. We'll talk about our own things." Sui responded with a smile. "Why don't I beat you up and you get beaten up by me? Isn't that fair?" Xiangfeng was dumbfounded. Seeing that Sui had begun to roll up her sleeves, Xiangfeng began to run for his life. "Help little Xiangyi, come back and save me." Sui chased after him unhurriedly. "I'll keep you alive. Sister E can be saved anyway." Xiang Feng. The dignified and domineering CEO actually ran so fast that his slippers fell off. For a moment, the audience gasped in amazement. My eyes are moist, and I'm holding back my tears. Smile. What was even more amusing was that as Xiang Feng ran, he picked a big tree and climbed up it. His movements were so skillful that those who heard it would shed tears, and those who heard it would be heartbroken. Just how much experience did he have in taking a beating? Little Uncle's act of climbing trees to save his life is so practiced that it makes one's heart ache. I'm imagining him being chased and beaten up by Brother Damao and Brother Ermao. Feng Feng of the Xiang family is such a pitiful man. Help. Who still remembers that Xiang Feng is a domineering CEO? Why isn't he smiling wickedly? There's no fan-shaped statistics in his eyes either. Shui crossed her arms and said faintly, "Come down." Xiang Feng hugged the tree trunk and said in a trembling voice, "Come up." Shui sneered. Xiang Feng trembled. He remembered that Shui also knew how to climb trees. Boo-hoo, what if he climbs up too? Xiang Feng was suffering, but through the lush foliage, he couldn't see the situation under the tree clearly. After waiting for a long time, there was no movement under the tree. Xiang Feng had an urge to pee, but he didn't dare to go down. Xiang Feng's imagination ran wild. Shui must be waiting for me down there. If I go down now, wouldn't I be walking right into a trap? Boo. Little did he know that Shui only stayed under the tree for a moment before leaving. The camera was still looking up at the tree, but the audience in the live stream couldn't stop laughing. I'm laughing so hard, ha 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 ha. Chapter 656. Shocking. A certain domineering CEO is showing signs of atavism. Shiringdi is so black-bellied, he left just like that. Mr. Xiang is so pitiful. Xiang Feng stayed on the tree for about 2 or 3 minutes before cautiously poking his head down to take a look. Ha! Where is she? He looked confused for a few seconds before regaining his composure. Ha! It's just an empty fort. Xiang Feng was like a detective deducing a crime scene. Sui, you've underestimated me. The man's serious comical look was even funnier than a comedian racking his brains for a joke. The audience in the live stream once again burst into laughter. Help someone save me, I'm dying of laughter. Xiang Feng, a perfect man who's funny. Mr. Xiang. Shiringdi really just left. He just left. Under everyone's gazes, Xiang Feng laughed wildly with his hands on his hips and sat down on the tree trunk, looking like he was going to stay on the tree until the end of time. About 10 minutes later, Li Jinyu couldn't hold back his laughter and said, "Mr. Xiang, Shui has really left." Left? Xiang Feng crossed his arms and looked down at Li Jinyu with a domineering gaze. Do you think I'll believe you? You're such a naive, stupid, and ridiculous man. Li Jinyu. Keep scolding me. This scene also became one of the classic and famous scenes of Two Under One Roof, which was later rewatched by countless loyal fans. It was also one of the funniest clips of variety shows. Xiang Feng sat on the tree for a whole hour. The production crew found a ladder and went up to persuade him one by one. It took a lot of effort for them to persuade Xiang Feng to come down. 1 second, 2 seconds. After waiting for a full 10 seconds, Xiang Feng still didn't see Shui come out to beat him up. He was stunned on the spot. She really left? At the same time, on Weibo, an unknown director released a clip of behind-the-scenes footage. It was a short promotional film about the fight against the plague. The film started with the family affairs of small characters, and was shot in an extremely natural manner. It wasn't the kind that made people cry, but rather, it subtly touched the audience's heart. From beginning to end, the people who appeared were all unknown actors, extras, and members of the public. Even the director himself went up to make a cameo appearance. The only exception was Shui. He played the role of a university teacher who taught online classes through the internet. He was wearing a cotton plaid shirt, and his glasses had been replaced with the most ordinary black-rimmed glasses, but it was still difficult to conceal his clean and handsome temperament. His slender and flawless fingers tapped the table twice, and his voice was gentle. Hello, students. Please turn to page 79 of College Physics. In the behind-the-scenes footage, the young best actor had obviously used his original voice. His understanding of the lines was impeccable. Even though the scene was a little noisy, the man's pronunciation was still clearly heard by everyone. The Shursway sisters were thrilled to see this behind-the-scenes video. Physics teacher, I can do it. Oh my god, our best actor has finally made it. Karma. Yes. There's no trace of her acting skills at all. She's so immersive. This video actually climbed to the top of the search list without any publicity. Zhuo, who saw this trending topic, gripped his phone tightly. Eating well for all 3 meals was going downhill. He heard that Muyao TV was already preparing to give up this show and replace it with a new variety show. Now his and Jiang Yan'er's reputation had been ruined, but why was Shursway living so smoothly? Zhuo was so jealous that his eyes turned red. He switched to another account and found a blogger to expose. Chapter 657. In the rented apartment. Peeler was playing games while shaking his legs. Ever since he started operating Weibo accounts such as Online Celebrity Peeler and Melon in the Field, he had earned quite a lot of money, but he squandered it all away. He either used it for online gambling or for top-up games. When he ran out of money, he would continue to post posts to slander celebrities and internet celebrities and make money off of them. However, after Peeler was mocked by the netizens a few days ago for defaming Xiangyi, he was worried that Xiangyi would retaliate. Hence, he had been keeping a low profile for a few days and only posted some trivial posts on Weibo. After playing games, he lit a cigarette and scrolled through the trending searches on Weibo to find material for today's post. A private message from a friend popped up in the lower right corner of his screen. Peeler opened it and found that it was a new piece of news from a netizen named Extraordinary Joie. It was not the first time that this netizen had exposed him, and each time, it was particularly explosive. Peeler had successfully gained popularity several times by relying on the netizens' posts. As soon as he saw his new post, Peeler's eyes lit up. His face was sallow and haggard because he had stayed up late. Half an hour later, Peeler's fans realized that he had updated his post. Online Celebrity Peeler v. I received news from a netizen that a certain best actor is suspected of being involved in illegal activities for receiving sky-high remuneration. Aren't the relevant departments going to investigate? Why should we pay our taxes so painstakingly while some people can evade them? The topic of paying taxes would make the headlines from time to time. The fact that celebrities paid taxes was the focus of countless people's attention. Upon seeing this Weibo post, all the netizens in the comments section began to imagine that the capital was online. Could it be that best actor I'm thinking of? The one on the trending searches? That's strange. His girlfriend is fair, rich, and beautiful, and he's from a wealthy family. That's unlikely. You probably don't know this, but SS family had an accident. When he was 17 years old, his family's company was not well managed, and he owed a large sum of money. He debuted to make money. Don't use abbreviations. I'm dying of curiosity. Is SS Shursway? Super soft. The Shursway sisters immediately appeared to criticize him. Don't believe rumors, don't spread rumors, don't create rumors. Everyone, please pay more attention to Shursway's career. She is the triple gold best actor Sway Sway, Kanglan TV Emperor Sway Sway, 10 billion box office Sway Sway, fashion darling Sway Sway. Since the establishment of Time Studio, it has been paying taxes legally. Shursway herself has also supported public welfare projects many times. She has donated to poor mountainous areas, out-of-school children, deaf and mute schools, psychological institutions, and so on. Please don't disappoint those who truly do charity. However, Skinner smelled the scent of big gossip. He switched to another account and reposted the Weibo post he had posted, playing different roles. Shuringdi would never do something like that. Trust him unconditionally. My whole family is shocked. SS actually paid sky-high fees and evaded taxes? Let's talk about the conspiracy theory. Could the 50 million donation to the West Continent also be to launder money? It's scary when you think about it. After a few accounts reposted it, the popularity of this Weibo post rose rapidly. Skinner was happily looking at the number of views on his website that was rapidly increasing. He was thinking that he could earn a lot of money today. Suddenly, A prompt box popped up on the screen. Frowny face, your account has been banned. Skinner: At the same time, the director of the anti-epidemic short film said, "Thank you, Shui, for acting in my short film for free. I'm deeply touched and would like to express my deep gratitude." Chapter 658. TSK. The netizens who had been standing on the moral and legal high ground to judge Shui were shocked. This turn of events was too unexpected. After all, an A-list celebrity's salary and appearance fees would start at least $1,000,000 for a short film. It turned out that it wasn't a sky-high salary, it was a zero-pay deal? Is this for real? Why am I so doubtful? How can there be an artist in the entertainment industry who doesn't earn money? Are you sure it's not a fake contract? On the surface, it's a zero-pay deal, but on the other hand, it's a sky-high price? The director replied to the comment about the fake contract. Please don't judge others based on preconceived notions. Perhaps such a phenomenon really exists in the industry, but I'm willing to guarantee with my life that Shui didn't take a single cent, not even the transportation fees. All the actors in the crew can testify. More and more people came forward. There were actors who had filmed the short film with him, as well as the scriptwriter and post-production staff. Even the takeaway boss who delivered the lunchboxes was full of praise for Shui. This young man is really handsome. He's polite too. The weather was bad after I delivered the takeaway, and it was about to rain. He even gave me an umbrella. The public opinion shifted from one side to the other. However, this time it was positive public opinion. There were also people in the industry who revealed that not only did Shui get zero pay this time, but all the public welfare projects that he had participated in previously had all been for zero pay. Not only that, the director who had given him a chance at the beginning of his debut also charged him a discount when he acted in the director's work after he became popular. When his friend asked him to save the scene, he did it without hesitation. Only then did the netizens realize that Shui seemed to not only be good at acting, but he also had a good character. Everyone was relishing in the gossip, and some people even gossiped that the city Shui was filming in today was quite close to Shizhou. But they were soon mocked by the netizens. What kind of joke was this? Would Shui go to see Xiangyi if it was close to the city? Would the almighty Shui be so lovey-dovey? At this moment, in the nanny van, Shui's long legs were crossed, and his slender fingers were knitting something. The tablet was casually placed to the side, and on the screen was Sichuanbai's expressionless face. He went straight to the point. I've already dealt with the blogger who spread rumors about you on Weibo today. He's the only one with the internet celebrity skinning accounts. Shui replied calmly, yes. Sichuanbai saw that his reaction was normal, so he added, he often slandered Sister E, but his computer skills are very good. He even filled in his information from overseas. It took a lot of effort to successfully report him. I've sent the details to Mr. Sanction, and he said that he will personally write the legal documents. Nowadays, spreading rumors didn't come without cost. At the very least, they had to publicly apologize. If it was any other artist, they probably wouldn't have been so calculative. Unfortunately, he had provoked a certain crazy sister protector. Shui frowned. Are there many people who slander Sister E? They've all been reported. Sichuanbai was speechless. You don't even care if I'm slandering you, but why do you change when I mention Sister E? TSK, there are still two faces. Okay, I'll do as I see fit. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Shui picked up the tablet and was about to end the video call. Sichuanbai inadvertently caught a glimpse of the colorful yarn at the man's fingertips and exclaimed in surprise. You're knitting? Chapter 659. It's not. Sichuanbai heaved a sigh of relief. The next second he heard Shui say casually, it's a hair clip. Sichuanbai was confused. What was that? Was it the hair clip that he understood? It's for Sister E. Shui tapped her fingers and sent a few photos to Sichuanbai. It was the most popular knitted hair clip with bright colors and cute patterns. The other kids have one, but Sister E has to have one too. Sichuanbai looked at the strawberry hair clip, bunny hair clip, and Snow White hair clip and fell silent. I'll continue. Goodbye. Shui hung up calmly. Si Chuanbai paused for a few seconds and asked Annan, "Hey, little colorful hair." In the office, Annan was using his laptop to chat with the netizens. His speed and ability to spit out vulgarities was amazing. However, while the netizens were ferocious with their keyboards, the real Annan sucked on a lollipop and let out a cute "ah." Si Chuanbai told him about Shui knitting the hair clip and showed him the photos. "This thing only costs a few yuan online, right? Do you have to knit it yourself?" Annan said. "This is probably why you can't find a girlfriend." Si Chuanbai raised his eyebrows. "Oh, don't you think it's sweet?" Annan's tone was angry. "Sugar. It's sugar. Who would be able to resist making something for the person they like? Is that so?" Annan clicked on #untimely and taught Si Chuanbai how to make sugar. "Come. I'll teach you how to make sugar. What's the essence of making sugar? First, it's eye contact, second, it's conversation, and third, it's details. But the real sugar is when two people are not in the same frame and can make a lot of sugar. We usually call this realm a sugar lover." Si Chuanbai pushed up his glasses with his fingers and took notes with a serious expression on his face. From time to time, he would make a few notes. In the room with the humidifier on, the water vapor was dense. Si Chuanbai, who was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, and Annan, who was relaxing and exercising, were very close to each other. After nightfall, it began to rain in the West Continent. The patients who were sent over had all received effective treatment. However, no cure had been found yet. All the experts were at a loss. It was rare for them to have some free time. Sleep had become a luxury that made every second count. Most people went to rest. However, Xiangyi didn't rest. Instead, she sat by the window of the resting room and flipped through the electronic files of the ancient medical book with a focused expression. The electronic file was a photocopy of the picture. There were no punctuation marks, and it was still in traditional Chinese. Most people would find it difficult to even break out a sentence, but Xiangyi did not have any reading difficulties at all. She browsed through it at an extremely fast speed. Suddenly, her fingertips paused and she read it carefully a few more times. Her round eyes became brighter and brighter. Found it. The girl hurriedly took a screenshot and sent it to the newly created group of experts. She also summarized her reading notes and sent them out. Suddenly, the long-awaited system notification sounded in his mind. "Host, the male lead is downstairs." Xiangyi was stunned for 2 seconds. Then, she pulled open the curtains and looked at a thin and tall figure through the pitter-patter of rain and the dark and silent night. Thump thump. Her heartbeat suddenly quickened. Xiangyi was so helpless that her fingertips curled up. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Her phone vibrated. She glanced sideways and saw the name on the screen. AAA boyfriend Red Heart. Chapter 660. The video call was connected. After a moment of darkness, Shui's face appeared on the screen. Xiangyi blinked, not knowing what to do. She waved her hand clumsily and said, "Hi." Shui's surroundings were dim. He stood under the street lamp, wearing a dark black sweater, which made his skin look cold and pale. The dim yellow light cast a gentle and clear silhouette on his entire person. Shui said gently, "Hello." Xiangyi said, "Hello." Shui's eyebrows arched deeper. "Did our sister eat well?" Xiangyi felt a little guilty, but she still said, "Yes, yes." "What did you have for dinner?" Xiangyi couldn't answer. She mumbled, "Oh," and tried to muddle through with her cuteness. I ate a lot at noon. The beef patties are very fragrant. I'll cook them for you when I get back." Shui sighed, but he didn't expose her. He just responded softly. "Aren't you cold?" the man asked in a low voice. "Be careful not to catch a cold." The girl on the screen was only wearing a milky white short-sleeved shirt. It was a loose-fitting version, probably for ease of movement. However, in this rainy summer night, she looked cold and slender. Xiangyi immediately jumped onto the single bed and wrapped the small blanket tightly. "I won't be cold like this," Shui said. "Sister E is so good." Xiangyi shook her little legs. She was praised. Xiangyi was a little nervous at first, but because of Shui's silent comfort, She gradually calmed down. She chatted with Shui for a while. It was obviously nonsense, but inexplicably, she felt very warm and happy. Don't you think we're like an old married couple? Xiangyi played with the small blanket. It seemed that her parents' interactions when she was young were also like this. She didn't know which word pleased Shui, but the man's dark eyes were filled with a smile. He said softly, yes. Xiangyi suddenly reacted. You didn't bring an umbrella? The drizzle soaked Shui's hair. In his mind, the system's voice was bewitching. Host, you can give the male lead an umbrella now this way. Not only can you give him an umbrella, you can also increase his favorability. Xiangyi. Oh. The system was overjoyed. Finally. Is this woman finally going to do missions? This is great. The next second, Xiangyi transferred a sum of money to Shui. At the same time, Shui's phone rang with a notification. AAA girlfriend has transferred 1 million yuan to you. Shui. The system, Xiangyi said with a serious face. I can't give you an umbrella. Otherwise, you'll be quarantined when you go back. It would even implicate Li Jianyu and Sister Wan. Sorry, can you go to the convenience store and buy an umbrella? Or should I order takeout for you? The system was about to vomit blood. No, host, an umbrella isn't that expensive. The girl ignored it. Her delicate porcelain face was flushed. Don't misunderstand. I don't mean to humiliate you with money. I want to give you pocket money. Just like what her grandparents and brothers had given her. Her definition of pocket money since she was a child was, because her family loved her, and she was loved. Unfortunately, Xiangyi was the youngest, so she couldn't give others pocket money even if she wanted to. But today, she finally gave it to her boyfriend. Why aren't you saying anything? Xiangyi was a little uneasy. Would this hurt Shui's self-esteem? Was her boyfriend angry? Chapter 661. On the other end of the screen, Shui pulled up his sweater and put on the hood to block out the shadows. His Adam's apple bobbed as unfamiliar emotions surged in his heart. But it was beautiful. Shui had always been a supporter of equal rights between men and women. He wasn't a male chauvinist, so he didn't feel that Xiangyi was insulting him or pitying him by giving him money. He really felt happy. When he was young, his parents lived apart. When he was young, his family changed. To Shui, pocket money was an extremely luxurious thing. But Little Bunny gave him pocket money, such a gentle, soft and warm little bunny. If you don't like it, I won't do it again. I'm sorry, it's my first time in a relationship. It's my fault. Can you talk to me? The girl's clear voice came through the phone. Shui finally raised his eyebrows. Those upturned peach blossom eyes seemed to be studded with stars, bright and burning. Thank you, Sister E. I'm very happy. Really? Xiangyi breathed a sigh of relief. That's good, that's good. Shui took out a few hair clips from his pocket. After all, it was his first time knitting, so the finished product was a little rough. He touched his nose embarrassedly. Do you like them? The man's joints were slender and well-defined, which contrasted with the hair clips. They're so cute. Did you buy them for me? Yes. The next second, Xiangyi's phone vibrated. It was a message from Nan. Nan is also eating candy today. Sister E. Mr. C and I were in the middle of supper when he told me that Shengdi had personally knitted a hair clip for you. Oh, it's too sweet, too sweet. My devil spicy hot and sour noodles have become sweet and spicy. Ah. Those hair clips were knitted for her by Shui? The little deer in her heart seemed to be able to talk and kept pounding nonstop. Xiangyi blinked. Boyfriend, did you knit these for me? Shui noticed her action of replying to the message and joked. It seems that I've been betrayed by my teammate. As long as Sichuanbai knew something, Nan would definitely know. Xiangyi corrected him softly. Of course not. Xiangyi was very embarrassed, but she also wanted to express her feelings to Shui. She pulled the small blanket to cover most of her face and said in a low voice, I really like the hairpin you knitted for me. I also really like you. I can't take it anymore. The little girl's face quickly turned as red as a tomato, and she covered her entire face. Sui's eyes were deep and serene as she stared at the soft light through the curtain of rain. There were countless thoughts of not wanting to be a human in his heart. But he killed them all. I'll continue knitting. I hope Sister E can like me a little more. The man's tone was as gentle as jade, and it sounded very affectionate in the middle of the night. Xiangyi was so shy that her toes curled up. She quietly opened a gap and happened to make eye contact with Sui, who was smiling. Her ancestral arrogance was activated. The little girl's heart softened and she said stubbornly, I'm not looking at you, I just want to see the hairpin. I don't know how it'll look like after I put it on. Sui raised his eyebrows. Then let me help you try it on? Xiangyi was stunned. Ha! The man looked down and slowly put the little rabbit, strawberry, and snow-white hairpins on his head one by one. He looked up and his thick and long eyelashes fluttered, making him look like a charming demon. Even the surrounding scenery instantly became lively. Are you satisfied? Ime. Chapter 662. Boom. Xiangyi's mind went blank as if fireworks had exploded in her head. Through the cold electronic equipment, Sui's thin lips curled up and her face instantly heated up. Cough, cough, cough. A few seconds later, Xiangyi broke out into an earth-shattering coughing fit. She finally calmed down. It's okay. Sui looked disappointed. Sister E, do you think the hair clip is ugly, or do you think I'm ugly? It was said that little puppies were the most irresistible when they acted coquettishly. But who would have thought that when a mature, steady, gentle, and handsome man acted coquettishly, it was even more irresistible? No. The hair clip is cute and so are you. I didn't mean that. No, that's what I meant. You're really cute, sob. I'm sorry. Xiangyi was incoherent. She was no longer as calm as she usually was. She even apologized to Sui. Sui raised his hand to touch the hair clip. Its outline was blurred by the light, but it was very gentle. I don't like it when others praise me for being cute. But Sister E praised me for being cute. He sighed helplessly and dotingly. What should I do? I'm very happy. Everything related to her in this world was so beautiful. Hearing the man's whispers that sounded like sweet nothings, Xiangyi's little legs fluttered even more violently. She lay on the bed, leaned her phone against the pillow, rubbed her hot face, and then looked at Sui. She made a heart sign. Sui was slightly stunned. Just as he was about to respond, he heard a beep sound. The video call had been hung up by a shy little bunny. Immediately after, the little girl sent 2 messages. Frowny face, it's very late. Go back quickly. Remember to buy an umbrella. The top of the screen was still typing. Sui licked his lips and continued to wait. However, the little girl on the other end of the screen edited and deleted many times. Finally, she blushed and sent a few cute emoticons. Frowny face, I miss you. Old Dai is full of you. JPG. I'm the best friend in the world with you. JPG, I like you. JPG. The last picture was of a little rabbit holding its heart. Below it were 2 big words. Frowny face chirp. In the rainy summer night, the man stroked the screen with his slender fingers for a long time before leaving. 10 days later, early in the morning news broke out with exciting news. A treatment plan for this epidemic had been developed. All of a sudden, everyone was sharing this joy on all the major social media platforms. But inexplicably, a lot of doubtful comments appeared on the internet. How can it be so fast? The vaccine research still needs a few more months. Can it be cured just like that? I'm not suspecting the officials. I'm suspecting that some doctors are faking it for the sake of their own reputation. Healing? I'm dying of laughter. As far as I know, all the patients currently rely on strengthening the body's immune system to heal themselves. This so-called treatment plan can't be bragging about only having a little effect, right? Hee, who knows if it'll work or not? Perhaps there would be no effect at all. Similar epidemics had happened in other countries before. Their medical standards were top-notch, but it took them several years to come up with a treatment plan. Since when can our medical standards be compared to those of other countries? At the same time, the morning news showed the list of people who had proposed a treatment plan. Xiangyi's name was at the top. Chapter 663. The netizens who saw the news were dumbfounded. According to normal logic, being ranked first meant that she had made the greatest contribution. There are so many highly respected medical bigwigs standing aside, and yet, a young girl is ranked first? Does that make sense? Many netizens' comments were soon filled with arrogance and prejudice as they began to criticize. These experts have no bottom line. They may take in disciples, but how can they mess around with the rankings? I have a bold guess that Xiang Yi's grandfather colluded with those experts to pave the way for his granddaughter's future. TSK, it might not be so disgusting if they did it slowly, but it's so direct. It's like a sugar daddy in the entertainment industry trying to groom a female artist. What's the difference between this and academic fraud? It's not her own thesis but under her own name. She didn't contribute at all, and yet she's still the author. How disgusting. Be careful, the higher you stand, the harder you fall. After all, it's lonely at the top. If you misbehave, you'll fail sooner or later. The voices of doubt were all over the place. Even the passers-by who had a good impression of Xiang Yi were shaken. After all, the good doctors they met in life were all older. How many young doctors were reliable? What more a young female doctor? Besides, she was only in her early 20s. Although she could be a genius. How many geniuses were there in this world? Habits were a powerful force that was even harder to change once they formed a mindset. More and more people participated in the discussion, and various small articles and short videos emerged one after another. The discussion about the treatment plan was far less than the discussion about Xiang Yi. The officials didn't expect that the public's focus would deviate to such an extent. Just as the public opinion was at its peak, the official Weibo account of 2 Under One Roof posted a new post: frowny face 2 Under One Roof V. Sister E, welcome home. See you guys at dinner. Ahem, see you at the live stream. The accompanying picture was of a black car parked at the gate of Little Rabbit Farm, and a young girl alighting from the car with a backpack on her back. The setting sun was a large patch of orange on the horizon, and half of the young girl's face was hidden in the shadows, as if she had been plated with a layer of filter. She looked quiet and composed. However, she had obviously lost a lot of weight, and even though she was wearing a mask, it was obvious that her chin had become sharper. All of a sudden, the netizens who couldn't sit still flooded the live stream. They didn't say much and started to scold her. As a doctor, how could you come back? No way, no way. The news is still blowing up, and he's already a deserter? She's dressed 2M short-sleeve jeans, bright yellow school bag. Where was the professionalism that a doctor should have? How can we trust her? At this moment, a tall and slender figure appeared on the screen. The photographer slowly zoomed in to ensure that the two of them were in the same frame. In an instant, a scene that resembled an idol drama appeared before everyone's eyes. Shui naturally took Xiang Yi's bag and rubbed her hair. I'm back. Xiang Yi's eyes curved slightly. I brought you a lot of things. Xiang Yi pulled open the zipper, and the things inside gushed out as if they had exploded. The little girl introduced him in a gentle voice. This is the most famous shrimp and custard bun in the West Continent. This is the medicinal plaster that Grandpa Fong gave me. It's a secret ancestral recipe. And the blind box I picked at the station. Look, isn't this very similar to yours? I'm so lucky. The girl was like a dragon who loved to hoard shiny treasures, but she didn't hesitate to share them with her baby. The netizens in the live stream were speechless. They suddenly didn't know what to say. It's quite sweet. Chapter 664. Every time Xiang Yi took out an item, she would introduce it to him seriously. She was chattering incessantly but not noisy at all. Shui's gaze was affectionate, and he smiled gently. From time to time, he would nod and chime in. He waited for her to introduce the entire bag of items. Are all of them for me? The man asked softly. Xiang Yi nodded vigorously. Xiao Naofu, who was not far away, took a few steps back when it heard those words. Its eyes were full of disbelief. Li Jinyu gestured for the cameraman to give Xiao Naofu a close-up shot, which instantly made the audience laugh. Ha ha ha, Director Li, you're so good at this. Xiao Naofu, that year I made a mistake after all. Oh my god. Is little Shiji a spirit? He actually pulled Xiao Naofu into his arms and kissed it. Xiao Naofu CP is so awesome. I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it. This couple must be 99%. The creamy yellow Shiba Inu held the kitten in his arms and licked its fluffy fur, as if he was saying with his actions, "Ha kitten, you're mine?" He's even more domineering than my owner, Xiangfeng. Xiao Naofu was so traumatized that it forgot to resist. Before it knew it, its head was covered in saliva. The audience expressed their opinions. I can't take it anymore, my diabetes is getting worse. I never expected that I'd have to eat Xiao Naofu and little Shiji's dog food too. Sure Sui equals live-in son-in-law, little Shiji equals live-in son-in-law, so Sure Sui equals a dog. Is there something wrong with that, friends? The comments section was extremely lively, and the tense atmosphere from before was gone. Sure Sui led Xiangyi into the living room and pressed her down on the sofa to rest. He didn't forget to place a soft pillow behind her back. He lowered his head and turned on the TV, after which he switched to a variety show. He had also prepared snacks and fruits. The food is ready, I'll go get it. Xiangyi said softly. Why are you such a good husband and father? Sure Sui couldn't help but laugh as he stared at Xiangyi for a few seconds. Xiangyi was puzzled. Why do you keep looking at me? Did I say something wrong? The only response she got was a pair of warm palms rubbing the top of her head a few times. Wait for me. When the man strode into the kitchen with his long legs, Xiangyi suddenly realized that something was wrong. A good husband and a good father. They were just dating. What nonsense was she spouting? The untimely CP fans in the livestream all smiled at the same time. Sure Sui, thank you, sistery. I will try my best to be a good husband and a good father. Cute, cute. Am I the only one who thinks that Shuringdi's wait for me is a double entendre? The first meaning is, wait for me to bring you food. The second meaning is, wait for me to become your husband. Ha ha ha, quickly cover Xiao Naofu's eyes. We kittens can't watch this. However, it was too late. Xiao Naofu suffered another blow, and his heart was like dead ashes. This stupid woman doesn't have me in her heart. Xiao Naofu lay on the ground, paralyzed like a cat biscuit with its paws spread out like a crippled cat. Little Shiji anxiously circled around it, but no matter how much it licked its fur, Xiao Naofu remained indifferent. Until a sweet and soft voice rang out softly. Xiao Naofu, look what this is. Dang dang dang. Xiao Naofu. Ha, no matter what this stupid woman takes out, I won't forgive her. In the next second, Xiangyi pulled over an oversized suitcase that was countless times larger than her backpack. Xiao Naofu. Xiao Naofu. Meow meow meow. Chapter 665. Are these? Xiao Naofu tried to suppress the excitement in its heart. Xiangyi opened the box, and as expected, it was full of things for Xiao Naofu. Canned cat food, cat snacks, cat toys. There was even a compilation CD of cartoons for kittens to watch. The audience was dumbfounded. Is this the legendary cat cartoon? You'll have to pay for the homophonic joke. Ha ha ha, Xiao Naofu's reaction is so funny. It went from lying down to wagging its tail. Baby, don't forget that you're a kitten. Why are you learning from little Shiji and Sure Sui? Do you like it? Xiangyi asked with a smile while kneeling on the tatami. Xiao Naofu's eyes were glistening, and it couldn't help but scratch the toys with its paws. However, it was still acting very arrogant. Meow meow. It's just a Xiangyi put a golden bell on it, which made a crisp sound when she fiddled with it with her slender fingers. Xiao Naofu, meow. I don't want to wear this. This is the big tiger's favorite bell. Meow? Meow. Really? I want to wear it. Sure Sui came out with some food on a wooden tray, only to see that Lin Yiqian was coaxing the kitten. The corners of his lips curled into a smile. This is for our little Shiji. Xiangyi took out another red bell and put it on little Shiji's neck. Little Shiji nudged Xiao Naofu merrily. Woof. Xiao Naofu had a look of disdain. This silly dog is so annoying. Okay, now you guys are pretending to be brothers. Xiangyi was extremely satisfied and picked up her cell phone to take photos of the cat and dog. Both of them were very photogenic and looked good in all the photos. Xiao Naofu couldn't be bothered to pose and was cold and arrogant throughout. Little Shiji, on the other hand, was kissing, hugging, and licking it. It was a real bootlicker. The comments in the live stream. I'm willing to exchange 5 kilograms of fat for Xiao Naofu's soul. What do you mean by pretending to be brothers? They're obviously a couple. I'm so jealous. Even kittens get kisses. I'm already in my 20s, but I'm still dating my mother. Xiangyi took out a DVD player and put the disc in. The TV began to play a cartoon. Xiao Naofu and little Shiji squatted in front of the coffee table and watched with great interest. Since there were no guests, Xiangyi and Shui didn't pay much attention to the table and sat down to eat. The dinner that Shui made was very simple. Millet yam porridge, boiled vegetables, custard buns, and shrimp dumplings. Xiangyi tasted them one by one. How does it taste? Shui looked calm, but she was actually a little nervous. Xiangyi looked at him seriously and gave him 2 thumbs up. Excellent. Our Shui is the god of cooking, the genius of cooking, and the king of home-cooked dishes. There was no one who didn't love bootlicking. There was no one who didn't love the flattery of the person they liked. Shui lowered her long eyelashes to hide the look in her eyes, but she couldn't hide the smile at the corner of her mouth. Countless people in front of the screen were overwhelmed by her sweetness, and almost forgot to question Xiangyi at the beginning. However, after the meal, Shui put the cutlery into the dishwasher, while Xiangyi cooked some medicinal cuisine in a casserole pot. Steam rose from the pot, and the bitterness of the Chinese medicine mixed with the aroma of the ingredients wafted into everyone's noses. Li Jianyu sniffed and asked curiously, Sister E, what are you cooking? A medicinal cuisine to prevent viruses. Xiangyi looked at the camera and asked, do you guys want it? I can post it on Weibo. As soon as he said this, he stirred up 1,000 waves. Chapter 666. The comments in the livestream were quickly polarized. So amazing? Yes, yes, yes. What kind of god is Sister E? How can she do this? Haha, even foreign experts said that they were at a loss after seeing the results of the experiment. The development of a vaccine is still a long way off. How can you have the cheek to say that it can prevent viruses? Let me tell you a joke. There is a foreign doctor who uses cow urine to cure all diseases. Let me tell you another joke. There is a Chinese doctor who claims that he can prevent viruses by boiling soup. It's just a small conspiracy theory. Don't tell me she's colluding with a Chinese herbal medicine company to make a profit. The conflicting viewpoints instantly clashed. There were those who supported Xiangyi, and those who criticized Xiangyi. Neither side was willing to give in to the other. All of a sudden, the comments section was filled with a foul atmosphere that was unbearable to look at. Xiangyi seemed to have expected such an outcome. She said calmly, or everyone just treat this medicinal cuisine as a simple supplement. I've made some adjustments and it tastes okay. The girl's slender and soft fingers tapped gently, and she posted the medicinal cuisine recipe that she had sorted out on Weibo. There were detailed instructions on how to choose the ingredients, choose the pots, add the herbs in the order, the time and state of the boiling process, and so on. Everything was perfect. Some people followed the recipe, some scoffed, some mocked, and some even posted the recipe on foreign social media platforms in order to gain popularity. The title was very eye-catching. Oh my god! This is a stupid treatment method from the East. That person exaggerated the name of Chinese medicine and completely misinterpreted the meaning of Xiangyi's recipe. It was as if the translation of husband and wife lung slice was slicing the lungs of the husband and wife. The foreigners who didn't know the truth were confused when they saw the prescription. Oh my god. This is so backward. This isn't treating a disease, it's killing people. Unbelievable. Is China still a primitive society? How can they still believe that boiling water with grass and twigs can cure diseases? Why don't they believe in science? Don't they believe in Western medicine? Western medicine is the greatest and most sacred knowledge in this world. After Xiangyi's recipe went viral overseas, the netizens brought it back to Weibo to gossip. When the netizens saw these comments, they were immediately filled with righteous indignation and criticized Xiangyi for bringing shame to traditional Chinese medicine. Some even criticized Xiangyi for tarnishing the reputation of Hua Nation's medical community. The years of hard work of countless seniors in our country's medical field have all been destroyed. Medicinal cuisine to prevent viruses? That's absurd. What a joke. It wasn't traditional Chinese medicine that was misleading people, but Xiangyi. It wasn't traditional Chinese medicine that was misleading people, but Xiangyi. In the past, we were mocked as the sick men of East Asia. Now, are we going to be mocked for being backward in medicine? Xiangyi, oh Xiangyi, haven't you made enough money in the entertainment industry? Why do you still want to taint the pure land of the medical world? Being a doctor is a profession that saves lives and heals the injured, not a tool for you to chase after false fame. Xiangyi, who was originally on the hot search list, was instantly drawn into the whirlpool of public opinion. And not only was she unaffected, but she was still asleep on the sofa. She was sleeping soundly and her breathing was shallow and even. Xiao Naofu, who had always been mischievous, sensed her fatigue and obediently laid beside her. It curled its little tail around her finger, and soon began snoring. Little Shiji laid on the carpet beside the sofa and fell asleep with Xiao Naofu's favorite salted fish toy in his arms. The room was quiet and filled with the fragrance of herbs. Shui, she slowly took out her crochet needle, and calmly began knitting a new hair clip. The netizens were dumbfounded. Chapter 667. Is this still the refined, abstinent, aloof Shui? You're too proficient in hooking the hairpin. Even Li Jinyu was stunned. In the viewfinder, Shui's long and slender fingers were hooking the hairpin skillfully. He flipped it up and down, and soon, the outline of a rabbit's ear was vaguely visible. Li Jinyu muttered to himself, "Is this Daddy Shui? He's so strong and terrifying." The netizens watching the live stream had mixed feelings. His skills. Do you need needles? It's such a pity that such beautiful hands aren't used to knit sweaters. I always thought that Shui was the only one who could sew haute couture clothes and luxury wristwatches. I never thought that one day, I'd be sewn with needles. Weave. Hair. Card. I wanted to criticize Xiangyi, but why does she look so cute even when she's asleep? Damn. I can't criticize her anymore. I'd better follow Shui and knit the hairpin together. Yes, we're just so shameless. Spicy Tutu also noticed that Xiangyi was exhausted. Must be exhausted. She fell asleep as soon as she hit the bed. She looks like a worker who has worked overtime. Sister is so pitiful. She gets criticized for everything she does, but some keyboard warriors, what have you done? I want to ask those who criticize Sister don't you have a heart? She rushed to the front line of the epidemic as soon as possible and treated the patients without rest. She's also the biggest contributor to the cure plan. What else do you want? Why are you holding Sister to the standards of a saint and holding yourself to the standards of a slut? They really felt sorry for Xiangyi. The internet magnified the malice and hostility of people, and ordinary people would feel terrible after being criticized. Xiangyi had been criticized by the entire internet for such a long time. Prejudice and haters would always exist, and there were too many times that they felt powerless. However, they also wanted to work harder for her sake, and make their voices carry more weight, so that more people could hear them. In that case, they might be able to change something, right? As for the foodie fans, they chose to support Xiangyi in the simplest and most straightforward way. That night, there were people sharing their medicinal cuisine on various social media platforms. There were dark cuisines that overturned cars and fed to dogs, but the dogs wouldn't eat them. There were also some that were exquisitely decorated. Just looking at them would make people drool. The most popular one was the daily vlog of a food blogger. Today we're going to make the medicinal cuisine shared by Sister I've already bought the herbs and ingredients. Here's the list. The blogger had a habit of keeping accounts. He showed the purchase list to the camera, and every item was clearly marked. I saw a lot of netizens scolding her for being a money grubber. To be honest, this medicinal cuisine recipe is the most conscientious I've ever seen. Ordinary medicinal cuisine can easily cost hundreds of yuan. If you add some expensive medicinal herbs, it will be even more expensive. But when I followed Xiangyi's prescription, I only spent a little more than 100. Anyway, I feel that it's really worth it to spend 100 yuan to nourish the body, regardless of whether it can prevent the virus. After the blogger was done with his long-winded speech, he fast-forwarded the cooking process and skipped to the final stage. The pot is ready. I can already smell the aroma. It's so fragrant. I'm starting to suspect that this isn't a medicinal cuisine. But Buddha jumps over the wall. A bullet comment flashed past. Heh, how much did the blogger charge Xiangyi for a medicinal cuisine recipe? She's bragging to the heavens. The next second, the lid of the pot was lifted, and the rising steam gathered, creating a vast expanse of white. A few seconds later, everyone could clearly see what was inside the pot. Chapter 668. A few seconds later, the camera focused and everyone could see what was inside the casserole. Unlike the dark Chinese medicine that he had imagined, the soup in the pot was surprisingly bright and clean. Wow, just by looking at the color, I can tell that this soup is going to taste terrible, the blogger exclaimed excitedly. He used a spoon to flip the ingredients at the bottom of the casserole, only to see that they had all been stewed until soft and tender. It was extremely appetizing. Gulp. The clear sound of the blogger swallowing his saliva could be heard in the video. I'm not afraid of you laughing at me, but I've recorded so many food videos, and sometimes I get tired of them too. The blogger rubbed his head at the camera and smiled honestly. I don't even have an appetite for delicacies. Haha, doesn't it sound a little like Versailles literature? While talking, he nimbly scooped up the residue of a few Chinese medicinal herbs. But today this medicinal cuisine is no exaggeration. It really makes me hungry. How should he describe it? It was the kind of taste that he hadn't tasted in a long time. Although it was very simple and plain, just smelling it made him hungry. He wanted to pick up the bowl and chopsticks and finish 2 bowls of rice. Real-time pop-up comments. That's a little exaggerated. Keep acting, keep acting. Self-media bloggers these days are really going to die if they don't do sponsored partnerships. So be it. At least don't make it so disgusting, right? Anyway, just hearing the name Xiangyi makes me want to vomit. In the next second, the blogger scooped up the residue of the Chinese medicinal herbs and eagerly scooped a bowl into a white porcelain bowl. He didn't even bother to pick up a spoon, and simply took a sip. He froze on the spot. The netizens were confused. What's going on? Is the network lagging? Why is the video still? For a moment, the pop-up comments were filled with question marks. After a full 10 seconds, the audience finally saw the vlogger's eyeballs move a little. His pupils dilated and his mouth was slightly agape. He was obviously extremely shocked. What the F***ck? He couldn't help but curse. His voice was shockingly loud. This is too F***king delicious ah. The audience was confused. Earphone fans died on the spot. Oh my god, that shout almost sent me away. You don't even need to think to know that it's all an act. Come on. Does it matter if you haven't drunk it before? It tastes no different from poison, right? But looking at her expression, it really doesn't look like she's acting. And I'm hungry from watching the video QAQ. I've already ordered an abalone pork belly chicken soup delivery. Really, I'm not lying to you. If I lied to you, I'll cut off my penis to atone for my sins. The blogger was extremely intoxicated. He held the bowl and gulped it down in one gulp. Even though the heat made him grimace in pain, he was still grinning from ear to ear. Thus, the scene became rather strange. The man was so hot that his mouth and eyes were crooked, and his facial features were distorted, but he was still laughing wildly, as if he was having a seizure. It was the kind that could scare children to tears at any moment. In the next second, something even more shocking happened. Blogger. Friends in front of the screen cheers. He actually picked up the clay pot and gulped it down. Schwa. The originally sparse bullet screen suddenly became densely packed. Young hero, you have such strong arms. Is this the legendary Heartless Iron Mouth? Big brother, you're just doing sponsored partnerships to clear your name. You don't have to work so hard. Are you trying to torture him or something? That night, a creepy video began to circulate all over the internet. It was called Contemporary Food Blogger Rewarded for Bewitching Behavior. Chapter 669. Countless curious netizens clicked on the video, only to see an impactful scene. Viewers and friends, I'll drink first. Immediately afterward, the food blogger picked up the casserole pot and gulped it down. Coupled with strong rhythmic music and all kinds of gory material, although the video was nonsensical, it made people laugh from beginning to end. While the netizens were laughing, they didn't forget to like, forward and share it. The popularity of the video grew, and it even set a record of 10 million views in one night. The next day, as soon as the food blogger woke up, he turned on his phone sleepily, ready to interact with his fans. But in an instant, the red number of new fans on the screen entered his sight. +498754. He shuddered and instantly sobered up. After all, he had only about 1 million fans in total. But just last night, his number had increased by almost 500,000. What was going on? Was there a bug in the platform he had signed with? Trembling, he clicked on the various data and finally understood what had happened. It turned out that the video he had posted yesterday had gone viral. At the same time, all kinds of review videos popped up like bamboo shoots after a rain. In the age of the internet, there was no shortage of people who wanted to ride on the hype, nor was there a shortage of people who wanted to watch the fun. Let's see how delicious Xiangyi's medicinal cuisine is. Shocking! Xiangyi's medicinal cuisine recipe is too awesome. Sister Yi's medicinal cuisine is so good, I'll take a sip in a pot. Sister Yi is a fake. All the netizens were confused. Weren't they all scolding Xiangyi yesterday? Why did the wind change today? Heck, could it be that they were all paid? The netizens who didn't believe it clicked on a video. TSK, it's just SOSO. Heh, it must be an act. Huh. Why does it feel a little delicious? F*CK. Ah, I'm starving. Why is every video here? Is it delicious? Countless netizens really enjoyed it. The public opinion changed from Xiangyi is slandering Chinese medicine and selling medicine for money, to who cares if it's effective or not, it's fine as long as it's delicious. Moreover, because the ingredients and herbs were cheap and the recipe was extremely detailed, many people followed the trend. There were more and more bootlicking comments on the internet. She cooked an entire pot, but I haven't tasted it yet. Everyone at home has already shared it. It's really delicious. I have mild anorexia, but Xiangyi's medicinal cuisine is amazing. Not only does it whet my appetite, but it's also delicious. I feel like my anorexia has been cured without treatment. I don't know if it's because of psychological reasons, but after Grandma stewed a pot of it last night, she said she felt much better after drinking it this morning. She was coughing a little at first, but it's completely stopped now. The manner. Li Jinyu scrolled through Weibo in a daze. There was a flood of good reviews. Those who praised Sister Yi simply couldn't wait to praise her and her medicinal cuisine. Sister Yi can't really have some kind of miraculous magic, can she? He muttered to himself in a daze. Wan Qing held a cup of coffee and smiled like a flower. Some people's light can't be blocked. Because Sister Yi was destined to shine brightly, destined to shine brightly. No matter how many people with ulterior motives wanted to drag her into the endless abyss, it would be meaningless. But that medicinal cuisine seems to be really useful. Last night, Sister Yi fell asleep and Dad sure gave me a bowl. My waist doesn't ache anymore, my legs don't hurt anymore, and my breathing is especially smooth. Li Jinyu teased. Seems like this medicine is quite effective as a placebo. Medically speaking, placebos had no therapeutic effect. Chapter 670. It was just a form of comfort and could be called a fake medicine. Li Jinyu naturally believed in Xiangyi's medical skills. The fact that a pot of medicinal cuisine could prevent the virus was beyond his knowledge since he was a child. In his opinion, one had to take medicine, get injections, or be put on an intravenous drip. Wan Qing took a sip of coffee and said leisurely, I think this medicinal cuisine is indeed effective. Ha! No way, honey, this doesn't make sense at all. Who are you calling your wife? Ha! Wan Qing raised her eyebrows. Li Jinyu immediately chickened out. I was wrong, I'm guilty, I'll kneel down. Wan Qing smiled and said, Wait a minute, the durian I bought online will be here soon. Li Jinyu was speechless. Jokes aside, Guanqing analyzed seriously. What do you think of Sister Yi's art? Of course it's good. Otherwise, she wouldn't have joined the team of experts. Actually, I don't have a clear understanding of her medical skills. However, I don't believe in her medical skills, but in her as a person. Let me ask you, when has she ever disappointed anyone? Li Jinyu was stunned. In retrospect, be it her culinary skills, sanxian, traditional Chinese medicine, or martial arts, Xiang Yi had always surprised others. A bold idea suddenly surfaced in his mind, and he felt as if his blood was rushing to his head. Can this medicinal cuisine really prevent the virus? Wouldn't that be at least 1 or 2 years ahead of vaccines? If that's true, Li Jinyu didn't dare to think further. Xiang Yi had a long sleep. She didn't even go for her morning exercise. She only woke up when it was almost noon. As soon as she went out, she saw Shui playing with Xiao Naofu and little Shiji in the courtyard. The game was very simple. Shui raised his hand and threw a tennis ball, while little Shiji bounced around to pick it up. The variable was Xiao Naofu. The kitten's legs were short and fat. It wanted to play the game, but its stamina couldn't keep up. Hence it rode on little Shiji. In the live stream, the netizens were watching with great interest. Xiao Naofu on top and little Shiji on the bottom. Dog. The fur on Xiao Naofu's head is all messed up. I can rub 10 of such kittens in a day. Shuringdi looks so handsome, even when he's throwing a ball. The child in my stomach is about to have a new father. Hearing footsteps, Shui turned around. The girl was wearing furry home clothes. Perhaps because she had just woken up, she looked a little confused. Did you sleep well? He asked gently. Xiang Yi nodded. I finally made up for it. During this period of time, the little girl was indeed exhausted. There were a few days when she almost didn't sleep or rest. Even her iron body couldn't take it. Shui. What's next? Do we still need to go to the West Continent? He didn't have the heart to wake her up when he saw her sleeping so soundly last night. Little Shiji returned with the ball in its mouth. Xiang Yi squatted down and stroked little Shiji's and Xiao Naofu's heads before throwing the ball far away. Little Shiji carried Xiao Naofu and chased after the ball. There's no need. The epidemic has stabilized. If there's any problem, we can just video call. The little girl said nonchalantly, as if she had just done something trivial in the past few days. Hearing the girl's calm tone, someone in the live stream retorted. I think she might have been kicked out of the team of experts because she's not competent enough. Foreign experts have said that if this epidemic occurs overseas, the medical system will collapse. Where does Xiang Yi get her confidence from? Does she think that our medical standards are better than those overseas? Chapter 671. To be honest, all the experts are still fighting in the West Continent. You, the youngest one, came back just like that. What's the difference between you and a deserter on the battlefield? You deserve it. The netizens' dissatisfaction mostly stemmed from some subtle jealousy. How old is Xiang Yi? She's only 20 years old. What right does she have to be an all-rounder and be adored by everyone? Even her medical skills rank first among the top experts in the country. This is ridiculous. Hence, they were desperately looking for excuses to prove that Xiang Yi was just SOSO. All-rounder? Ha, she's just average. Adored by everyone? Ha, it's obviously an act. The whole family is working together to create hype. There are clearly so many unfortunate families in the world. Number 1 on the medical contribution list? Ha, it's just Grandpa paving the way for her. How can she be better than a well-respected old doctor? In the manner, Shui didn't ask much. Instead, she gently pinched the plush ball on the girl's home clothes and said, Sister Yi, it's been hard on you. Welcome home. The light fell on him with incredible gentleness. Xiang Yi felt as if a feather had brushed past her heart, making her feel numb and ticklish. So it's true that the same words are said by different people. I'll have a different state of mind. Xiang Yi cleared her throat, her milky white face full of seriousness. I won't make you wait so long in the future. Shui chuckled and said, Okay, Sister Yi, you're good. As she spoke, she put a newly knitted hair clip on the girl's hair. The white bunny ears were circled with pink wool. They were cute, soft, and much more exquisite than the first one she knitted. It didn't look like something she had just knitted. Xiangyi touched it with her hand, but she couldn't see it herself. Hence, she tilted her head and asked the cameraman, "Old Zhang, does this look good?" The experienced old Zhang's hands trembled violently. No one would be able to withstand such a critical blow from his peerless beauty. The fans in front of the screen were even more so. For a moment, the comments section was filled with excitement. "Nice! Xiangyi, you're the prettiest in the universe. Bunny with rabbit ears. Amazing! Amazing! Even covering my mouth couldn't stop me from screaming. Has Shiringdi really only been learning for a few days? The lousy students are crying. Is this man's learning talent so strong?" Questioning voices would not be late. The medical staff is bleeding and crying on the front line, but you're at home being lovey-dovey? You really don't treat other medical staff as human beings, do you? A kind reminder, you've already embarrassed yourself overseas. If you have time, I suggest you check out the foreign websites to see how much Chinese medicine has been slandered because of you. First, you boasted that the treatment plan is at the top of the contribution list, and now you're saying that a pot of soup can prevent viruses. Miss Yang, why don't you ride the wind and soar to the skies? Suddenly, a staff member hurriedly ran over. "Sister E, hurry up and change your clothes." Xiangyi guessed, "Is there a guest?" No. The staff member had not recovered from his panic and stammered. So many people. There were also the media, and reporters. I heard that there might be a live stream. The haters in the live stream perked up when they heard this. This staff member is so flustered, it's definitely not a good thing. Seems like he's here to expose Xiangyi's true colors. Indeed, if one's virtue doesn't match their position, there's bound to be trouble. Chapter 672. Is she trying to show off and fail? How satisfying. Finally, someone can deal with her. She's a deserter and she's stealing credit. She should be criticized. A group of people were criticizing her as if Xiangyi had already been nailed to the pillar of shame. The Spicy Tutu fans, on the other hand, began to speculate curiously. Did your IQ run away from home? Is it really that easy to fool an official matchmaker? Wow, let me make a bold guess. Are they here to give Sister E a little red flag? After all, R.E. May is a warm-hearted citizen, Miss Yang. I also think they're here to praise Sister E. After all, Sister E has made such a great contribution. Some haters are just blind. They only see what they want to see and believe what they want to believe. It is the essence. Sister, there's no book for you in the bookstore. I'm going to smash the bookstore. Li Jinyu was also a little confused and worried that something bad would happen. Just as he was about to go talk to them himself, Xiangyi casually tied her hair into a bun and said calmly, "Don't panic, I'll go take a look." The staff member asked, "Huh? Why am I being comforted by Sister E? Is there something wrong?" Shui said, "I'll go with you." Hence, the two of them walked leisurely towards the main entrance like an old couple taking a stroll. Everyone at the scene was speechless. The netizens watching the live stream were also speechless. Both of them had excellent body proportions, and from the back, they looked like big shots. Also so sweet, so sweet. The feeling of facing everything together, no matter what the road ahead was really heart-wrenching. At the main entrance, Oyu Fujimoto climbed up the black iron gate. Through the fence, he could vaguely see the cars and people gathered outside. The door opened automatically. Hearing the sound, the reporters outside quickly set up their cameras as if they were on a battlefield. Their movements were neat and uniform, and all of them were aimed at Xiangyi. Li Jinyu and the others, who were following behind, saw this scene and were a little confused. Li Jinyu was in a trance. Why do I feel like Daddy Sure is outdated? In the live stream, Sister Shui made fun of herself. Be more confident, get rid of your feelings. After all, our Shui is a gigolo. Seeing that Shui is finally living off a woman, his old mother shed tears of relief. The other netizens were speechless. What's going on? Other than Spicy Tutu, was there another Shui sister among the abnormal fans in the fan circle? For a moment, I don't know if you guys are real fans or not. But soon, Everyone's attention was attracted by the reporter's voice. Sister E, look at how thin you've become. I smell the aroma. Sister E, I have a colleague who wants to try your cooking. Bah. Shameless. The colleague you're talking about is yourself. Sister E, don't listen to him. I'm fine with the leftovers. His words, which were as intimate as daily life, subverted everyone's imagination. Some netizens recognized that many of them were famous reporters from major television stations. Whether it was in terms of professionalism or popularity, they were impeccable. In the past, when they interviewed others, most of them were very aloof. But today it was Sister E. Why are they so affectionate? Xiangyi nodded slightly and insisted, hello. Hello, Miss Yang. As soon as the bespectacled man in the middle of the crowd spoke, the surroundings quietened down. Sorry to disturb you. We're the reporters who previously agreed to do a joint interview with you. We received the news a few minutes ago. May I ask, how do you feel about being selected as the National Hero of the Year? Chapter 673. Be it the live audience or the netizens in front of the screen, they were all stunned. What did I just hear? National Meritorious Minister of the Year. Although they didn't know what this award was with the word national in front of it, it sounded very impressive. In the live stream. What the F***CK? What's going on? Huh? These people aren't here to criticize Sister E, but to praise Sister E? I went to search. This award is so F***king impressive. Simply put, the winners are all people who have made great contributions to the country. I'll give you two simple examples. One of the winners last time was a Nobel Prize laureate, while the other achieved a global breakthrough in the field of materials. The live stream was in an uproar. What was the most ruthless slap to the face? It wasn't a slap, but a casual slap. From beginning to end, the other party didn't take them seriously, but they wished they could slap themselves a few times. The netizens who had been arguing nonstop were all dumbfounded at this moment. At the venue, Xiangyi was slightly stunned and said humbly, "It's an honor, but I don't deserve it." The refined reporter pushed his glasses up his nose bridge and said with a smile, "No, I think you deserve it." As everyone knows, Miss Yang discovered an ancient prescription for dealing with the epidemic in an unpopular medical book, and made ingenious improvements to it, which made the treatment plan possible. The netizens were speechless. Previously, the morning news report was not detailed enough. In fact, the TV station wanted to do an exclusive interview, but they didn't expect that due to some people's biased understanding, it would lead to a misunderstanding. Now the reporter's words had undoubtedly clarified for Xiangyi. Furthermore, he had clearly stated her contributions. She was the one who discovered the ancient prescription and improved it. If she wasn't first on the list of contributions to the treatment plan, who else could be first? That wasn't the end of it. The other reporters asked one after another, "Sister E, what do you think of the role of Chinese medicine and Western medicine in this epidemic?" Sister E, your preventive medicinal diet has been tested in clinical trials, and it has been confirmed that it has a 90% chance of being effective. How did you come up with this idea? Sister E, the epidemic in the West continent has subsided in less than half a month. The experts all said that it was all thanks to you that you could come back and rest. Are you still planning to go back? One question after another was like a powerful fist, hitting the bar spirit's face from all angles. Countless people in front of their screens were speechless. Therefore, the treatment plan was discovered and innovated by Xiangyi, and it was ranked first on the contribution list. The preventive diet was invented and promoted by Xiangyi, and it was really effective. Saying that he was a deserter was even more groundless. He didn't want to return. It was the experts who begged Xiangyi to come back and rest. The girl, who was dressed in home clothes and looked like a little sister next door, answered the question calmly. There are boundaries in science, but there are no boundaries in medicine. Chinese medicine is good at grasping the whole, and Western medicine is good at precise treatment. If we can combine them, I think we can save more people's health. Medicinal diets have a long history in our country. Not only can they nourish the body and strengthen the immune system, but they can also treat and prevent some mild diseases. However, it's important to note that medicinal diets are not omnipotent. If you fall sick, you must see a doctor. Remember that. As for the West Continent, of course I'll go there. The girl's eyes curved. When everything is settled, I want to try all the delicacies in the West Continent. Chapter 674. Xiangyi's answer was gentle and gentle, neither servile nor overbearing. She quickly won the favor of the viewers in the live stream. What kind of treasure is this girl? Cack. I suddenly realized that Xiangyi's EQ is quite high. Ah, our kid is awesome. Baby, your mama's pride. I'm from She Continent, and to be honest, I'm tired of hearing other people say that they hope She Continent will get better soon. But Sister Yi's words about wanting to taste all the delicacies in She Continent are so offensive. At the same time, the official livestream was also in progress. Dressed in pink and white home clothes and wearing a knitted tutu earring hairpin, Xiangyi was extremely adorable to the viewers, be it when she answered the interview seriously or when she smiled. We all know that Miss Xiang has posted the recipe for the medicinal cuisine on Weibo, but the audience on Weibo may be young people. I hope that through this interview, Sister Yi can publicize the recipe again, so that more elderly people can benefit from it. Xiangyi nodded solemnly. You're right. Nowadays, the internet was developing rapidly, but the elderly seem to have been abandoned by the times. Many elderly people didn't know how to pay with their mobile phones, use navigation software, or even use WeChat. Not to mention browsing Weibo and recording recipes. Other media outlets also recorded the interview with cameras and voice recorders, so as to create the widest influence possible through more channels. After all, that was what the media should be doing. Under the expectant gazes of the crowd, Xiangyi cleared her throat and slowly said in a voice that was several times louder than before, Uncle, Auntie, Grandpa, Grandma, can you hear me? The livestream viewers. Earphone fans died on the spot. Xiangyi is toxic, why is she shouting? My ears are hurting. Those in front, you have hands and feet. Can't you turn down the volume yourself? Sister Yi is obviously afraid that some elderly people won't know how to turn down the volume, and won't be able to hear her clearly. No one said anything else. Instead, in many families across the country, gray-haired elderly people responded to Xiangyi. Okay, I heard her. I heard her. I heard her. This girl's voice is really loud. It sounds good. The little girl deliberately slowed down her speech and was extremely patient. She explained every ingredient and medicinal herb clearly. The reporters felt her kindness, and all of them laughed silently. The official TV station also made an exception and extended the broadcast time for her. The channel was cold, but the people behind the channel could feel the warmth. Sometimes exceptions were needed. After Xiangyi finished speaking, she repeated it briefly and asked loudly, do you remember it? In the live stream, the hostility was gone. Instead, it was replaced by positive comments. Remember, please praise me. Ha 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 ha, my grandma is listening so seriously. She even wrote it down in a notebook. In the past, I didn't realize that my father had a hearing problem. He was afraid of affecting us, so he always turned the volume down and watched the news expressionlessly. Today, when I saw him smile at Xiangyi, I realized that he could only hear Xiangyi's voice clearly. I'm going to bring him for a physical examination in the afternoon. The interview came to an end. Last question, Sister Yi. What do you want to say to your family? Unknowingly, the reporter who called her Miss Xiang also called her Sister Yi. Chapter 675. The fair-skinned girl blinked her long black eyelashes. I don't seem to have anything to say. A few bickering comments appeared in the live stream. Oh, you're not going to F***CK your group's pet persona anymore. Now that you're famous, you've forgotten about your family. Let's be honest, can you get to where you are today without your family? Who would care about you? I'm dying of laughter. However, Xiangyi's next sentence was, I basically video call my family every day. If everyone is free, I'll also video call them together in the group chat. The Xiang family was much closer than ordinary families. Her grandparents, uncles, and brothers doted on Xiangyi, and it was never a one-sided relationship. Xiangyi would occasionally scroll through funny videos or read interesting books. Whenever she made a new dish, she would immediately share it with her family. The trolls. Sorry for the interruption. When will the live stream have a retraction function? If you can't come home often, then contact me often. The girl faced the camera with a faint smile. A hint of a smile flashed across the refined reporter's eyes behind his glasses. He suddenly understood the reason why those experts doted on her. Which elder wouldn't love a gentle and sensible girl like her? Then that's it for the interview. He was about to end the process when the girl suddenly said, "But I have something to say to him." The girl held Shui's hand, and under the latter's slightly surprised gaze, she said shyly but firmly, "I've always missed you." The man's eyes were deep and dark in an instant. Subconsciously, he grabbed the girl's slender wrist. His big hand held her small hand, their fingers intertwined. Ahem, that's it. Xiangyi looked at the camera. This isn't off topic, because he's also my family. Bang, bang, bang. Shui felt as if someone had set off a large fireworks display in his heart, causing his emotions to surge and explode in an overwhelming manner. His upbringing was the complete opposite of Xiangyi's. The relationship between the Shui family members was indifferent, and he was also very estranged from his biological parents. Father Shui's love for Mother Shui was passionate and grand, but also crazy and paranoid. Father Shui had a strong sense of possessiveness. In the beginning, he only restricted Mother Shui from making friends and going out. Later on, because of some mental illness, he directly restricted Mother Shui from going out. This was what civilization said. From a legal point of view, it was a violation of personal freedom. The differences between the parents were getting bigger and bigger. Every day, the house was filled with the sounds of quarreling, crying, and things being smashed. At that time, Shui's biggest wish was to have no family, but now the gentle and soft girl was blushing from her ears to her neck. She was obviously embarrassed, but she still expressed her feelings in front of everyone and the camera. He wasn't just a boyfriend. It was his family. For the first time, Shui felt the beauty of this word. Yes. He responded in a low voice. His voice was hoarse and mixed with some inexplicable emotions. He was clearly happy. I miss you too. All the reporters. Who would have thought that such a positive interview still couldn't escape the fate of being eaten dog food? Okay, thank you Sister E for accepting our interview. I wish Sister E and your family happiness and health forever. The refined reporter closed with a smile. In the live broadcast room, the CP fans couldn't help but celebrate. I don't care, I don't care. This is the official satellite TV testifying to untimely couples' marriage. Chapter 676. Hello everyone, I'm the Civil Affairs Bureau. I'm here. Hello everyone, I'm the flower boy. I'm scattering flowers online. Heartsuit. Hello everyone, I'm Yu Lao. I announce that the red string between these two has been locked. I've swallowed the key. They must be together for the rest of their lives. The interview came to an abrupt end when Shui and Xiangyi looked at each other and smiled. However, the live broadcast was still ongoing. Thus, the audience in the live broadcast room discovered the professional reporters, who had been busy just a moment ago, gave Xiangyi a simple and honest smile. Some of the more timid ones were so scared that they trembled. What's going on? This scene is too much like a zombie movie. Everyone was too embarrassed to speak first. In the end, it was the refined reporter who said what everyone was thinking. Ahem, Sister E, it's almost time for dinner. We've prepared some ingredients, I wonder if we can. The Chinese language was broad and profound. The appropriate amount of blankness created an indescribable effect. Xiangyi immediately understood. Everyone has worked hard. Why don't you stay for a meal? The atmosphere suddenly became familiar and cheerful. Okay, thank you, Sister E. Sister E, don't worry, I'll definitely only eat one bowl of rice. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Sister E, I'll help you feed the pigs. What are you doing? Snatch the job. Let me tell you, I'll make it clear. I'll fight anyone who tries to snatch the job from me. The netizens. Fine, they were used to it. Sister Yi's routine was over. The refined reporter smiled and said, "Thank you for your hospitality then." The group entered the manor. Even though many people had watched the live broadcast, they were still shocked by the picturesque scenery of the countryside. There was a glass greenhouse, a large vegetable field, chickens, ducks, pigs, and geese, as well as a small rabbit farm in the distance. It was simply a place where the gods lived. The group of reporters rolled up their sleeves and rolled up their trousers, working very smoothly. The large yard became lively. The reporters had brought a lot of ingredients. After some thought, Xiangyi moved the barbecue grill that she hadn't used in a long time to the yard and began to process the ingredients. The meat was marinated with eggs, starch, salt, oyster sauce, and so on. She also specially marinated spicy and pickled pepper. Shrimp paste, chopped, mixed with cooking wine, egg white, bean powder, and a small amount of white sugar. The vegetables were washed and neatly arranged in white or wooden utensils to form a harmonious color. In addition, he took a 9-grit electric hot pot and skewered the fresh hand-beaten beef balls, fish balls, kelp, tofu, and other wooden skewers delivered by Little Rabbit Farm in the morning. After adjusting the taste of the soup base, it instantly defeated the Odin from the convenience store. The fragrance filled the air, and not long after, the sound of saliva being swallowed could be heard everywhere. Whoa, this is too fragrant. I can't stop drooling. Is this how Sister E cooking? It's terrifying. The little girl she thinking thought she's down. The refined reporter asked curiously, "Sister E, what's troubling you? Why don't you tell us? We can help you think of a solution." 3 cobblers are better than zhuge liang, not to mention there were so many of them. I'm thinking about what to make for the main dish. After a pause, the girl's gaze fell on the chicken coop. I've already thought of it. It's just those chickens. I think they have low blood sugar. The refined reporter, Xiangyi said sadly, "Looks like I'll have to add more sugar when I fry them." The refined reporter? Chapter 677. The audience's reaction was exactly the same as that of the refined reporters. "Little kid, are you as confused as I am?" Chicken. Oh. Are you listening? Speak. Adding sugar while frying is okay. Sister E, are you trying to make me laugh to death so you can inherit my summer homework? The bullet screen was filled with heartache for the chicken. Xiangyi caught the chicken at lightning speed. The scene of killing the chicken was too gory, so the cameraman didn't film it. By the time the shot was taken again, the chickens were already in a row and lying cleanly on the chopping board. The situation immediately changed. "Chicken bro, have a safe journey, candle. A family should be neat and tidy. Doghead. So cruel. Sister E, can you send me a copy when you're done? I'm different. Sister E, tell me where your house is. I can send myself over for a meal." In the kitchen, Xiangyi was going to make rock and roll fried chicken today. This dish is very simple to cook. Everyone can try it. Xiangyi heated up the oil in the pot while interacting with the audience. After the oil was heated, she first added ginger slices and stir-fried them until they were fragrant. Then, she added the peppercorns to make the sauce smell. Finally, she added the small pieces of chicken. The soul of the rock and roll fried chicken sweet sauce was naturally indispensable. The girl's movements were neat, and her slender body had great explosive power. From time to time, she would toss the ladle. The audience cheered. I can do it. After stir-frying the chicken until the water evaporated, she added bone broth to the pot, brought it to a boil, and simmered it over low heat. Finally, she added green pepper, small pepper, onion, and rock sugar to add a rich spiciness and freshness. After stir-frying it evenly, it was ready to serve. In the yard, the reporters had already eaten barbecue and Odin. Xiangyi's special sauce was unanimously praised. This chili powder is amazing. It's worthy of being a super chili cultivated by a scientific research institute. Sister E actually knows how to make sauce? God, is there anything she can't do? The Odin is 10,000 times better than the ones I buy at the convenience store. The meatballs are so fresh. Sure enough, the The most high-end ingredients only required the simplest cooking techniques. Everyone couldn't stop praising her. They couldn't wait to write an 800-word press release to prove how delicious Xiangyi's condiments and meatballs were. Until a strong fragrance drifted along with the wind to the tip of everyone's nose. The actions of the group of people were like copy and paste, and they all turned to the source of the fragrance. He saw Xiangyi walking out of the kitchen with a big basin. Someone in the live stream commented, "She's a guest, isn't it a little inappropriate to put her in a basin? You should at least put it on a plate." This comment was quickly rebutted. Watch if you want, get lost if you don't. Do you know why Xiao Ming's grandmother can live to the age of 80? Because his grandmother never meddles in other people's business. It must have been hard for you to grow up to this age. It's a miracle that you haven't been beaten to death after so long. This wave of attacks from the foodie fans instantly shut down the haters. Most of the time, foodie fans were very passive, but there was one exception. It was mealtime. Arguing at such a time was even more infuriating than throwing away their milk tea, or throwing away their fried chicken. At this time, the young girl's clear and sweet voice, like the sound of nature, clearly passed into everyone's ears. The rock and roll fried chicken is here, in an instant. Countless people in front of the screen, like swordsmen drawing their swords, solemnly. They pulled out their chopsticks. Chapter 678. The camera zoomed in on the steaming hot rock fried chicken in the pot. The chicken was tender and fragrant. The broth was thick and the fried chicken was bright red, matching the color of the onions and green peppers. A thin layer of white sesame seeds was sprinkled on top. Just one look was enough to whet one's appetite. There was nothing fancy about it. There were only 3 words to describe it: fragrant, hungry, gluttonous. Gulp. In front of the screen, many people had already begun to swallow their saliva. The reporters in the courtyard weren't any better, as their eyes were glued to the dish. The main dishes are rice and stewed noodles, Xiangyi added. The stewed noodles can be eaten like the big plate chicken, and mixed with the broth at the end. Recalling the way to eat the big plate chicken, everyone felt that the deliciousness of this rock-fried chicken had risen to another level. The refined reporter had the most experience. He said, "Everyone, let's dig in." The group of reporters, like hungry wolves, picked up their chopsticks and picked up the chicken pieces. The most important feeling when the chicken was in the mouth was its tenderness. The faint fragrance of the sauce wrapped around the chicken. It was slightly sweet in the mouth, but the aftertaste was rich with layers of salty and spicy. The broth had completely soaked into the meat, and with one bite, it felt like the juices were about to burst. Paired with the steamed rice, it was no exaggeration to say that half a bowl of rice would be no problem with a mouthful of fried chicken. Paired with a glass of cold beer or cola, it was as if the depths of one's soul began to tremble strangely. No one at the table spoke. The only thing the audience could hear was the sound of food being chewed. F***ck. This damned stereo sound. I'm having a great time eating instant noodles in front of the screen. Today's fried chicken is so delicious. Director Lee, come out for a chat. Last time you said you wanted to update the equipment. It was all for the sake of filming food, right? Where's your original intention? Are you here to film a variety show or a mukbang broadcast? Xiangyi knew that Shui's taste was relatively light, so she specially made a light meal for him. The two of them sat at the side and ate the vegetables, enjoying the feeling of peace and quiet. Do you want some soup? Xiangyi asked. I also made seaweed and egg soup, it's in the kitchen. Before Shui could say anything, someone immediately said, I'll get it. How can I let Sister E work for me? The man happily scooped the soup, but Shui's phone suddenly vibrated. He glanced at the caller ID and raised his eyebrows slightly before answering the call. After a few words, the call ended. He looked at Xiangyi and said helplessly, My little nephew has no one to take care of him these 2 days. His parents want to send him over to stay temporarily. Xiangyi had an impression of her little nephew. She had met him during Xiang Yin's 60th birthday banquet. He was a decent and adorable little boy. The little girl had always liked the cubs of all kinds of creatures. Her eyes curved into crescents. Okay, what does he like to eat? I'll make them for him. Shui felt slightly unhappy, but she didn't show it. She said calmly, he's not picky about food. He can eat anything. As he spoke, the staff member led a little boy over and said somewhat helplessly, there was a couple who left the child behind just now. They said they were looking for Shui. Everyone's gaze simultaneously fell on the little boy she was holding. The boy was about 4 or 5 years old. He was delicate, and adorable. He had a head of naturally curly chestnut hair, and was wearing a British-style shirt and suspenders. He also had a pair of well-polished leather shoes on his feet. The only thing that was out of place was his expressionless face. Chapter 679. Shui. Xiangyi stood up and called the little boy's name. Shui kept a straight face and nodded like an old man. Hello, Sister Xiangyi. Xiangyi said. Wow, you still remember me. It had been a few months since she had transmigrated to the past when she met Shui. It was rare for a child of his age to be able to accurately call out her name. She walked up to Shui and blinked. Can I hold your hand? Shui obediently placed his little hand in her palm. He secretly glanced at Shui. The man's face darkened visibly. He walked up to Shui. The man had a strong aura and looked over indifferently. Shui braced himself and greeted. Hello, uncle. Shui said hello. Then that was it. The uncle and nephew fell into a strange silence. The netizens were speechless. Were these two people biological uncle and nephew? Why did it feel like they were more polite than passers-by? Fortunately, Xiangyi came to the rescue in time and asked gently, Are you hungry? Is there anything you want to eat? The fragrance of rock and roll fried chicken, barbecue, and Odin rushed into Shui's nose crazily. The little boy used all his self-control to control himself and said the words, I want to eat, in a reserved and appropriate manner. Thank you, sister. I've had lunch. Do you want to eat the cake? Do you want to watch cartoons? Or tell you a story? Xiangyi was always very patient with cubs, especially good-looking ones. Shui's clear black and white eyes widened, as if he couldn't understand. Was there such a happy thing in the world? He scratched his head uncomfortably and rubbed his eyes. Xiangyi misunderstood these movements. Are you sleepy? Then I'll take you to take a nap, okay? The little boy pretended to be cold, but his voice had the unique tenderness and softness of a child. Okay. Xiangyi held Shui's hand and left. The reporters smiled mischievously and winked. Shuringdi, Sister E is quite good at taking care of children. That's right. When are you going to get married? Should we consider having a second child? After all, the 3-child policy is open now. Gossip was human nature. Even famous reporters were no exception. Shui sneered and did not answer. Children? He did not like it. As for Shui, thinking of Xiangyi's attitude towards him, Shui couldn't help grinding his teeth. In the guest room, the staff brought over a car-shaped suitcase. Shui took out his pajamas and was about to change when he suddenly realized something. He looked up at Xiangyi and pursed his lips in embarrassment. Sister, I want to change my clothes. I'm sorry, I'll leave now. Shui was silent for a few seconds before he carefully made a request that he would never dare to make at home. Sis, can you tell me a bedtime story? Xiangyi was stunned for a moment before she nodded. Okay, then you can change first. I'll go to the bathroom. Shui's eyes sparkled as if they were filled with stars, but he pretended not to care. Yes, okay. He vaguely looked like Shui. Xiangyi went into the bathroom and called the system in her mind. Help me search for a few fairy tales. Xiangyi ordered the system without any burden. By the way, why have you been so quiet recently? The system was silent for more than 10 seconds. It was so angry that it almost vomited blood. That's because you blocked me. Chapter 680. Xiangyi's expression didn't change. Oh, so that's how it is. System. I'm going to die from anger. I'm really going to die from anger. Although it had a high level of authority as a system, it still had to follow the most basic rules of logic. For example, If the host requested to be blocked or muted, then unless it was a special situation or the host actively called out to it, it could only be infuriated. After being speechless for a while, it said in an aggrieved tone, 10 fairy tales from different planes have been downloaded for you. Loading. Loading complete. Xiangyi was no stranger to receiving information. Soon, 10 fairy tales appeared in her mind out of thin air. She had to admit that the system was quite reliable. The fairy tales it found were more suitable for children, and there were no dark plots like eating children or turning into zombies. Thank you, thank you. Hearing the girl's gentle and polite voice, the little system couldn't help but roll around in the data stream. It had served many hosts before, but they were all especially Ling Yi, who would lie to it. In any case, compared to them, Xiangyi was like the clouds in the sky and the mud on the ground. The new host is so good. She even knows how to say thank you. The little system was delighted when it heard the girl say the cruelest words in the most gentle tone. Continue blocking mode, thank you. System. Was this what the internet in this plane meant by, happy only lasts 3 seconds? What? Ah. Was it not professional enough? Was it not good enough? It was clearly many times better than that idiot Xiao Naofu. Could it be? It was not as cute as Xiao Naofu. No. The frequency of the data stream fluctuated violently, and it took a long time for it to calm down. After testing the system, Xiangyi had a rough idea of what was going on. What she knew was that the so-called missions, issued by the system, didn't force her to complete them, and it even took the initiative to go easy on her. Xiao Naofu used to be so close to her, but if she couldn't complete the mission, it would punish her due to the restrictions of the rules. However, after the punishment, Xiao Naofu would cry especially miserably. In addition, the system's tolerance towards her was definitely abnormal. It was as if it wasn't in a hurry for Xiangyi to complete the mission in this world. Shiyu's appearance interrupted Xiangyi's thoughts. Elder sister. The little boy's voice was clear, and the outline of his round black eyes was soft. However, the corners of his eyes were curved upwards. It could be seen that he was somewhat similar to Shui. When he grew up, he would probably also have affectionate peach blossom eyes. He changed into his blue and white checkered pajamas. Xiangyi felt that the cotton material looked familiar. You want to lie in bed and listen? Or do you want to sit there and listen and sleep when you're tired? Xiangyi pointed in the direction of the French window. This guest room was facing a good direction. At this time, the sun was shining brightly. The pea-green curtains were pulled open, leaving a layer of lilac lace curtains, sprinkling light into the room. When the wind blew, the light seemed to jump. There was a row of tatami mats on the floor, as well as a soft couch and several pillows. Shiryu clenched his little fists and resisted the temptation. He said seriously, Sister, I'll just lie on the bed and listen. But Xiangyi smiled. I want to listen to a story by the window. Shiryu's eyes were obviously filled with joy, but he thought that he restrained it well. All right then, not making things difficult for a virtuous girl is the basic etiquette of a gentleman, he said with his baby fat face. Chapter 681. Xiangyi saw through the little boy's thoughts, but she did not expose him. She pulled Shiryu to sit down. Shiryu felt the softness of the sofa, and shock flashed through his young and round eyes. It turned out that there was such a comfortable thing in this world. He thought that this was enough happiness, but he did not expect that in the next second, Xiangyi would hand him a furry blanket and a rabbit doll. Here for you. Under the sunlight, the exquisite girl was so white that it seemed to glow. Her skin was fair and clear. Then I'll start talking. Shiryu nodded stiffly and subconsciously hugged the little rabbit in his arms tightly. Soft. It seemed that everything in Sister Xiangyi's house was soft. Just like her. All of this was something that Shiryu had never dared to imagine. The sun was warm, and Sister Xiangyi's voice was gentle. Shiryu did not take long to feel sleepy. Even though he adhered to strict family teachings and paid attention to his sitting posture, he was still young. Not long after, the little one sank into the cloud-like softness. Prince Lemon found Princess Orange and told her that in this world, every fruit is different, but every fruit is worthy of love. Shiryu was sleepy, but he still stubbornly asked, "Sister, what if no one likes it?" Xiangyi was deep in thought. For example? For example, Princess Durian. Shiryu used the fruit he hated the most as an example. His long eyelashes drooped, casting a faint shadow. What if no one in the world likes Princess Durian? Xiangyi was silent for a while and patted his little head. Maybe the prince who likes durian is still far away. If you wait a little longer, he will appear. Shiryu's long eyelashes trembled. But what if he can't wait? Sister, you can't guarantee that your answer is 100% correct, right? After asking, he regretted it a little. Shiryu had an ability to express and reason that exceeded his peers. In a sense, he could be called a genius. However, the people around him would always treat him like a child. Even if he could solve a problem that even adults could not solve, he would only receive an impatient sentence from his father. What's the use of solving this? Or they would be treated like monkeys by others. Shiryu, come and perform a pie table. When he recited it, those people would often look surprised. Not bad, you're quite powerful. Then he changed the topic. But he's still a child. Learning so much will spoil his brain. Who knows, I might accidentally become Shang Zhongyong's. You were smart when you were young, but now that you've grown up, you're just like everyone else. There were very few adults who could answer the questions he asked. Whenever they couldn't answer, they would come up with all sorts of excuses to brush him off. Children don't need to know these things. You'll know when you grow up. Go away, don't bother me. You can search for it on your phone and you'll know. Over time, Shiryu got used to it. He thought that if Sister Xiangyi couldn't answer his question, she would probably be put in a difficult position. She would also be worried about how to answer him perfunctorily. Unexpectedly, Xiangyi cupped her cheeks with her little hands and said in admiration, "Shiryu, you're so amazing to think of such a problem." He was stunned for a moment. Then, he heard the girl say seriously, "Everyone can have their own opinions and opinions. That's just my answer. What about you, Shiryu? What's your answer? Can you tell me?" Chapter 682. Ha! Shiryu was stunned. There was no rebuttal, no ridicule, and no perfunctory attitude. Instead, she treated him like an adult, respectful and equal. This was beyond Shiryu's understanding. After his mind went blank for a moment, Shiryu clenched his fists excitedly and expressed his opinion. "I think that other than the possibility that Sister mentioned, there is also another possibility. Perhaps Princess Durian will never be able to wait for her prince in her lifetime, and she might be hated by others. But it doesn't matter. She also hates others, so." The little boy hesitated for a moment and did not dare to say his true thoughts. He was so smart and sharp, so he was afraid that Xiangyi would guess that the Durian princess was himself. So Princess Durian lived a happy life alone? Xiangyi added the end. Did I guess right? Shiryu looked up at her, and then lowered his head to look at his toes. Yes, you're half right. Xiangyi was very distressed. Huh. Her confused tone satisfied Shiryu to a certain extent. He deeply felt that he was needed. Xiangyi's sister was an adult, but he could help her answer this question. The little boy subconsciously straightened his back and said seriously, "Because a person won't be happy." "I see. I think what you said makes sense, Shiryu. But I want to refute. Just like you said, I can't prove that my answer is correct. Similarly, Shiryu, you're the same. Why can't a person be happy? Just like in this world, boys can be with girls, boys can be with boys, and girls can be with girls. However, even if you don't choose, I think it doesn't matter. People can choose to be with others, and of course, they can also choose not to be with others. As long as it's the lifestyle they like, it's fine." Even if Shiryu was a genius, the amount of information in Xiangyi's words was still too much for him. Xiangyi's point of view was something he had never imagined. "Let me tell you a secret. Sister likes her family very much, her grandparents, her uncles, her brothers, and her boyfriend. But occasionally, she would want to be alone. I like to cook. I'm happy to cook for my family, but I'm also happy to cook for myself. It doesn't matter if Princess Durian can't wait for the prince. She can still be a happy the little princess." Yu's dark eyes slowly brightened. Outside the door, Shui came over with desserts and warm milk. The live stream was still going on, but it could not be filmed in the guest room. Someone commented, "Looks like Shurindi is cold on the outside but warm on the inside." Although he's not affectionate with his little nephew, his body is very honest. Soon, a large number of comments appeared on the screen. "Young man, you're too naive. I bet all of Wei Long's dignity that it's all for Sister E. I think Shurindi is jealous, ha ha ha." The thought of his girlfriend being in the same room with another male creature, even if it's a child, must make him feel uncomfortable. Hearing the conversation between Xiangyi and Shui's first reaction was to turn off the microphone. Then he knocked twice on the door. Xiangyi came over to open the door with a little Shota following behind her. Seeing how clingy the little guy was, Shui narrowed her eyes. Shuryu shrank his neck, instinctively sensing danger. Chapter 683. Fortunately, Uncle Shui didn't seem to be crazy enough to beat up a child. He handed the tray to Xiangyi and said indifferently, "I'm afraid you two will be hungry." Shuryu heaved a sigh of relief. Xiangyi took it. "Thank you, boyfriend, I'll continue telling Shuryu stories." Hearing this, Shuryu grabbed Xiangyi's clothes out of a childish desire to show off. He mustered up his courage and said, "Big sister's stories are very nice." It wasn't just stories. Her speech was also very nice. Shuryu was overjoyed. In just a short while, he wished that he could stay here forever. Shui stared at him for a few seconds, then lowered his long eyelashes and said in a slightly hoarse voice, "No one has ever told me a story since I was young." Oh. Xiangyi was stunned. Not far away, Xiao Naofu, who was swaying on a hammock in the cat villa, couldn't help but roll its eyes when it heard Shui's words. How could there be such a shameless dogman like Shui in this world? Although the audience in the live stream couldn't hear anything, Shui was worthy of being called the best actor. Just the action of lowering his head was enough to make people's imaginations run wild. Judging from Xiao Naofu's expression, Shurindi must be an old green tea. Shui's acting is superb. Just the action of lowering his eyes and opening his mouth makes me feel so pitiful. I want to hug him. My focus is different from yours. Yu is still so young, but his facial features are already so good-looking. I have a bold idea. Yu, big sister can wait for you to grow up. Doghead. Xiangyi thought for a while, then asked tentatively, "Then, I'll tell both of you at the same time?" Shui's expression was slightly resistant. Shui, however, curled his lips. Okay, thus, a certain best actor swaggered into the room, forming a sharp contrast with Shui's dark expression. Xiao Naofu. Meow meow meow. You. This dogman's tea skills are superb. After the three of them entered the guest room, the screen of the live stream went dark for a few seconds before changing to the courtyard. The audience was extremely anxious. Who wanted to watch these people eat and drink? Wouldn't that be too lonely? Everyone protested under the official Weibo account. Li Jinyu had a headache when he saw those comments. He was hesitating whether he should call Xiangyi and Shui out when the door opened. Xiangyi went to the living room and rummaged through the cabinets. He asked curiously, "Sister E, what are you looking for? Do you need help?" Xiangyi. Yellow paper cinnabar. Li Jinyu was dumbfounded. What the hell? Something for drawing talismans. The girl's answer shocked Li Jinyu. Sister E, calm down. We can't engage in superstitious activities. Otherwise, the live stream room might be warned or banned. Sure, you can't sleep. It might be because of psychological reasons. I'll draw a talisman to coax him. Xiangyi looked calm. We have to believe in science. From a medical point of view, this is similar to placebo. Is that so? Li Jinyu was confused, but seeing how calm Xiangyi was, he didn't suspect anything. The girl took out her talisman drawing tools and spread the yellow paper on the table. She casually dipped it in cinnabar, and her movements were smooth and fluid. In just a moment, a talisman was drawn. The livestream audience was dumbfounded. It seems quite like that. However, there were also people who questioned. Is it that casual? Drawing talismans is a very serious matter. One needs to bathe, change clothes, burn incense, and wash the brush. Xiangyi's drawing is simply child's play. Chapter 684. There are congenital and postnatal talismans. To put it simply, congenital talismans can only be drawn by geniuses. As the saying goes, a little bit of inspiration is a talisman. The ritual rules for postnatal talismans are complicated, and ordinary people draw postnatal talismans. However, Xiangyi drew postnatal talismans. You can choose not to believe it, but you can't be disrespectful, right? However, Xiangyi didn't have that many scruples. What she drew was a heart-calming talisman that she had learned in a certain immortal cultivation world, which had the effect of calming the mind. However, she was in her own world and didn't have the so-called dermic powers. There was also no spiritual energy in this world, so she felt that this talisman wouldn't have any substantial effect. It was just to coax children. Little did she know that the video of her drawing talismans was coincidentally seen by a certain talisman enthusiast. Professor Zhu had done a lot of research on traditional Chinese culture, especially the classics of mountains and seas, myths, and other aspects. His main job was as a history professor at Nanjing University, and his daily life was very healthy. Apart from teaching classes and guiding graduate students, he would refine herbal pills, take care of the flowers on the balcony, and various vegetables in the backyard. Ever since he had an exchange with a few Taoist priests at an academic event, he had developed a strong interest in talismans. Apart from analyzing the culture, history, and origins behind them, he would occasionally draw a few talismans for fun. After some scientific research, he discovered that it was indeed difficult to draw talismans. Apart from the superstitious factors, the drawing of talismans was complicated, just like traditional Chinese characters. It was already very difficult to remember. Secondly, the talisman maker was required to draw it in one go without any interruptions. These two conditions had stumped a lot of people. Today he came to attend a study report by a few graduate students. Before it was time, someone had already started watching the video. Professor Zhu wasn't like some old-fashioned teachers who were resistant to popular things. On the contrary, he was quite fashionable and trendy. He felt that as long as the students completed their study tasks, it was fine for them to play games and watch short videos. It was fine as long as it was moderate. Hence, not only did he not reprimand the students, he even held his thermos and watched the video with relish. The video of Xiangyi drawing talismans happened to be playing on his cell phone. At first, Professor Zhu thought that the girl was just fooling around and casually drawing a few strokes, but the moment Xiangyi really started drawing, Professor Zhu subconsciously held his breath. The girl's movements were calm and languid, as if she was drawing a freehand painting of mountains and rivers. A moment later, a talisman was formed in her hand. The student muttered, "What the hell is this? Why does it look like scribbles?" Professor Zhu suddenly slapped his thigh. "Good." The student was shocked and trembled in fear. "Teacher? I don't want to read anymore. I'll start reading now." However, he heard Professor Zhu's praises. "My brush strokes are divine, and I'm done on the first try. The painting technique is not restricted by form, so outstanding. A little spiritual light is a talisman. The people of the world have wasted ink and vermilion. This young lady is a talisman master." Student. "Where? Teacher, are you also spicy too? Why is it that when it comes to bootlicking, he's even better than me?" On the other side, at a Taoist temple in South City, a young Taoist also saw the video of Xiangyi drawing talismans. He rubbed his eyes and confirmed it again. Then he ran away and shouted, "Master, master! Someone drew the same talisman as martial ancestor. What nonsense are you spouting?" The immortal-like Taoist stroked his beard. When he saw the talisman in the video clearly, his pupils instantly trembled. "It's actually a heart-cleansing talisman." You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.